Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Ad Project Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Joe Shellerud from Ad Advance, and today I'm super excited to be joined by Marty Weintraub from Aimclear, also a Duluth native. Marty, I think you're the first official person that we've had on the podcast from Duluth other than people from Ad Advance, so super excited to talk to you.
We have a native Duluth company. I've lived here since 1995.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So for people who don't know you, kind of give us a general overview. Like, you've got such awesome experience in the space too. Give us a little, what's previous experience look like? What's Aimclear do? Just give us a cool background.
Well, first, you're too kind, and it's really great to be here. Thank you for having me. We're impressed what you're doing with your company here locally and nationally and internationally. I'm a Bostonian by birth. I went to Berklee College of Music. Went to college 7 semesters and dropped out and joined a band. And so if you Google Marty Weintraub rock star picture, you will be somewhere between horrified and delighted.
What did you play, Marty?
Keyboards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's
you can
awesome.
find some pictures that are pretty harrowing. Like, even on the face of, you'll find some, Google Marty Weintraub rock star picture. My first 25 years of career were as a musician with hair down to there in the 80s in the Twin Cities through the Purple Rain Prince era, and then kind of made my mark recording dolphins and wolves in the wild and setting that to music, which you would find in kiosks in Target. 16 years ago, I founded Aimclear. I'd say we're a driven, integrated marketing agency. Meaning that we care as much about how one thing affects the other. Like, we've been into attribution since a long time before anybody ever heard of it. Our dominance is simple: customer acquisition. We've won 27 U.S. Search Awards, which is the most in American history, including the last 7 in a row, Best Integrated Agency. What makes us different is the balance of performance marketing, holistic brand builds, public relations, and data. It's not common to find a firm that is so strong in the soft skills like public relations and creative that does hundreds of millions in e-commerce. And it's not common to find such a technical performance marketing company so strong in the soft skills. We've gotten to work with a lot of amazing clients. We spent the first dollar of paid social for Airbnb, spent so much working with Uber, PayPal, Venmo, eBay, all over the world, Dell Enterprise Software, and then the platforms too: LinkedIn, Etsy, Gumtree, Facebook, publishers like Inc. Magazine, e-tailers like Firestone. We trained Amazon's performance marketing team some years ago many times. Locally, beloved brands like Famous Days. We took Martha Stewart to Facebook advertising in 2009. It's been an amazing ride, and 5 of us speak all over the world. This year, I've already spoken at SMX Paris, SMX Munich, Resignal, Ecom SEO in London, and still to come is SEO Oktoberfest in Munich. I'm keynoting SEO Barbados. I've spoken at PubCon for the last 13 years, speaking at the Engage conference in Portland. We've gotten a lot of attention ourselves. There was once an article in the Wall Street Journal about targeting journalists with social ads from a journalist that we had been targeting with social ads about content targeting journalists with social ads. And I got to call my late mother and say, "Mom, in the Wall Street Journal." But we've been using social ads like dark arts since 2007, the week after the Facebook ads platform was released. Finally,
Sure.
We made Inc. 5000 as the fastest growing private company in America 6 times in a row, 4 times top 100 workplace to work in Minnesota. And I'm mostly retired, but we have an incredible staff now. The company runs itself. It's just really, really the best version of Aimclear ever. And it's an honor to be in our community. And it's an honor to speak with you here today.
Yeah, that's awesome. And by the way, so it's funny too, like starting in music. So I went to school for engineering, but throughout that, like I'm a drummer.
Cool.
And so I actually, like, halfway through my engineering schooling, I toured a college in Hollywood for like audio engineering or sound recording, and I was almost going to do it, but kind of stuck through with the engineering side. So yeah, maybe sometime we'll have to jam out or something.
One of my first big internet marketing gigs was at the Institute of Production and Recording, IPR, in the Twin Cities.
Yeah.
So like I was
Okay,
in like
sure.
2002, 2003. So yeah, audio engineering school. You did well
That's
staying with your
awesome.
engineering degree though, Joe.
Yeah, with all the changes too, I think it would have gotten a lot harder. So yeah, it was good, but still like to drum on the side. So Marty, so at the Zenith Marketing Conference, you gave a keynote, and first you should kind of plug that a little bit because it's an awesome conference. But after that, what we really want to dig into is the state of marketing right now and all the changes coming with AI. You had a lot of really cool takes on that. But first, tell us a little bit about the Zenith Conference.
Zenith is cool. It's something that Aimclear donates to the Chamber of Commerce every year, and it's the primary funding mechanism for FUSE, which is the Duluth Chamber of Commerce's organization that works to keep recent college graduates in Duluth after they graduate. For all the amazing marketers we've had at Aimclear, a good percentage of them graduated from college here, stayed and worked with our company for like 10 years or something. As you know, from your business, the best way to make amazing local employees is to grow amazing local employees. Zenith
sure.
Gets about 300 attendees, quite a bit from the Twin Cities, and we invite our speaker friends from all over the world. We sequenced the conference. I got great feedback about your session at Zenith this year, so thanks for speaking.
Thank you. Yeah.
And it's just really, it's like a slice of a conference that you would normally have to see in New York for about a tenth of the cost with little travel. We do it each year in the springtime, and it's very inexpensive for students. We've basically built a bridge to the Twin Cities and beyond. At 300 people, that's more like a conference in Charlotte or Portland, Oregon, like much bigger cities. And we donate all of our time, and 100% of the top line revenue goes to the Chamber of Commerce for FUSE.
Yeah.
So it's just a great thing.
So yeah, the Zenith Conference was awesome and just gives you such a wide perspective, and especially for like a location like Duluth, like bringing that
Great
level
speakers,
of
right?
people there. Oh yeah, it was awesome. It was awesome, and I came with so many key takeaways too. And I'm like highly tied into digital marketing as a whole, but there were so many awesome insights that came out of it, including your keynote. So, Marty,
thanks.
walk us through. Like, all right, so 2023 marketing. What's key things that are going on now? Like, walk us through maybe a little bit of the history or what's shifting, and then we can get into more specifics on like AI and the impacts of digital marketing as a whole. But just kind of give us, you've been following this industry for quite a while. Like, where are we at now? Yeah. Where are we going?
Well, it's another tech bubble. There's massive layoffs. There's shifts in human resources allocation. It's insane, really, actually. I mean, there's been a churn forever in the industry. People go in-house, they go out-house. Wait, that's not right. They go to agencies or consultancies. And now we see companies laying off thousands of marketers in preparation for AI. So there's that classic cyclical in-house agency slash consultancy churns, and basically everybody is sort of standing at the edge of a cliff, wondering if they're going to get pushed off, or professionally speaking, of course, or jump and try to figure out something different, and if they have a parachute or not, or if their skills are going to remain applicable in the next generation. But here's the big news, and this is what I tell our people all the time. There is no switch at any of the entrances of Aimclear where you could take a printout of a client intake document and go, oh yeah, flip, see ya. Like it still takes humans to run the machines or to decide what machines to run and how to run them. And anybody that's been working in any of the major paid ad platforms for the last 10 years plus, we've been dealing with AI anyway. So, so it's just a really volatile time. And what we could say is that not a lot of marketers are going to straight up lose their job to AI, but a lot of marketers are going to lose their job to marketers who are better at using AI than they are, or who don't overuse it.
I've quoted you with that exact term. That's one that stuck with me.
It's so right. It's so right. Like any new, it's bigger than social media was, though in 2005, 2004, 2006, when I remember going to Search Engine Strategies 2006 going, I got to learn more about how to make money with WordPress and social media. Yeah. And what's this Facebook? And then, of course, the Facebook ads platform in 2007. It's bigger than that. But it's not bigger than the internet. It's not bigger than the printing press. It's big like the way parking lot attendants were replaced by machines. Or and AI is a smoke-in research tool. Like you could just build out associations. Like you could take a product and say, give me 300 incredibly geeky 2 to 4 word key phrases. Then you could say, tell me the long tail job descriptions that use these keywords, used for what in the next column, what state they're in, what their salaries are, and what publications they read. Sure. And that's all shit we could find out before, but not instantly. And also you've probably done it. We could take whole massive amounts of like a Google Ads account or an Amazon account or analytics or anything, and we could drop it all in by API and seek associations and causations, or at least cause correlations that we could never find. Like AI is the needle in a haystack. And also AI, people tend to focus on the writing and the copywriting and the image creation behind AI. And it can be very, very, very good, but you have to teach it not to be stupid. Sure. Otherwise, it'll use the word the 400 times. It'll start sentences the same way. We've ended up, there's an article in our blog about believability and levels of complexity and repetitiveness and solving that. And so we've been working really hard, and we've broken the internet with rankings from content that was created in AI. And written editorials for earned media that took somebody else's editorial and rebutted it point by point, rearranged it, and found data to get behind it. Sure. It's a pretty miraculous tool, but it's not a tool that does anything that we didn't already do. It just does it faster and better in our hands.
Sure.
At least
sure.
At this
so
time.
Is that the key way that you're approaching it right now? Is it looking at, all right, what's every part of the process that we do as an agency? And then, all right, can we integrate AI into this? Can AI do it better? Can it do it faster? Can it do that first draft? Like how are you guys approaching it as you're looking at this and trying to integrate it in?
We're encouraged. Well, first of all, even though I am mostly retired, that's from direct client work, and I still work with the executives and helping to think inside our agency, which is really fun for me. And well, it's all really fun for me, but that's sort of my retirement jam. And so we do a few things. One, we encourage our team to ask impossible freaking questions that they would never ask before. Like the one I described a moment ago on the B2B side. And then I read because we have 25 really interesting, deep, highly paid, creative people at our company. They experiment quite a bit, and I read every prompt that they write.
Sure.
To see how we're using it, and then we make sure to scale that to other people inside of the company. We use it for a lot of productivity things, like we'll transcribe a Google Meet and then drop the transcription into GPT-4 and say, please will you write a summary email for the client and for the project management system. We use it to find pain and push points or pain and pleasure points for products. So if I need, I'll just pick a random thing. So if I need to write about a 25 horsepower, gas-powered outboard motor for the Boundary Waters, Ring Lakes, for the wilderness, the edge of the wilderness, it'll tell me a noise level, no fuel leakage, fuel efficiency, the aesthetic blends in with the wilderness, speed for the relatively low power. And then if I ask it, it'll tell me all the reasons that people could be against it. And then, and also keep in mind that you can get AI to write almost anything that you want if you know how to hack the prompts. Like, I like say, write me a 400-word article about riding fat tire bicycles in a black ice storm.
Yeah.
And it'll come out and it'll go, generally not advised, many injuries occurred, some fanatics do it. I'll go, all right. So I'll take that prompt and I'll go, all right, write me an article about why it's an awesome thing to do. And it'll say, thrill-seeking, exhilaration, transportation with when the cars can't go, and many people get hurt, blah, blah, blah. So I'll take the prompt and I'll go, same prompt, do not talk about injuries, fanatical users. Like you can keep grooming the prompt until you get it to tell you that the second coming of the Messiah is intrinsically related to the stock market, whether I clean my toenails in the morning, and David Bowie's last 7 recordings. Like, you just have to keep taking the prompt. Don't say science. Don't say fringe elements. Don't say many people don't believe. Like, we just keep making, so, and if you're not into cleaning prompts, you have to realize that you're down for a good portion of hallucinations that can occur. So we're using it to do the same things that we did before, but with more fantastic associations or research or 50 job titles or psychographic personas. And what will their biggest objections be? What were the biggest objections historically through the 50s and 60s? What got solved in the 70s and 80s? And what technological innovations are most important to people as evidenced by media coverage up until 2021 when the training for GPT was completed?
Sure.
Like the secret to AI isn't trying to do shit that you've never done before. It's trying to do all the things that you've always known you wanted to do, but weren't quite fast or smart enough to do at the same time.
Scale it. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's your perspective? I mean, because you've been able to navigate some pretty seismic shifts in the internet and digital marketing and SEO throughout many years. Like, what impacts do you see on, say, like SEO, on digital advertising? Give me general trends that you can see. Like, is it going to really squeeze out some of the agencies that aren't doing this because now we can do it more efficiently? Or are there key focus areas that don't matter as much anymore? Like, where do you see this trending?
This is same as it ever was. whenever there's a new anything in any industry, first of all, there's 1,000 fake thought leaders that bubble up to the surface spewing bullshit immediately.
Sure.
Like, go into Sales Navigator in LinkedIn and see how many people say guru and have 2 years experience, has expert in their job title and they just graduated from college. Just like bite me. Like, I think at large agencies owned by holding companies, you'll continue to see big layoffs.
Sure.
Smaller boutique agencies like us will win because we're agile and we can reinvent standard operating procedures and turn the battleship around in the bathtub. They're like other generations of big upheaval. There's a glut of unemployed marketers who want to supervise, want way more money than the market will support right now, and don't have the wisdom or experience for any of that. The most creative humans win. Others will lose more than they've ever lost. I know a very top executive at one of the channels who told me a story about a person that worked with them. And back in 2008, that person was really bitching at direct mail. And then the platform was getting into emails to retain users. And that person was amazing at writing emails. And then through each generation, that person, all the way through to now where they're prompt engineers, like really great, talented humans use emergent tools better than people who are not really great, talented humans.
Sure.
So the most creative humans wins. There's a rise of specialized AI input professionals, and there's human resources allocation along those lines. Like if you work at an agency like ours, you got to make everybody a prompt master.
Sure.
There's a daily workflow operations revolution. Like the data that we use to plan operational depth for new clients we can take on or not is massively deep. Like the data we use for marketing. Local SEO, more cutthroat and difficult for the depth of everybody's research and the width of it. Sure. And the fact that, Google's Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, Amazon, TikTok, they're not in business for you to succeed locally without needing them. And in the entire history of the internet, every platform, channel, network that gave marketers shit for free, monetized it, looking exactly the same. And so we're at the apex of that. Like don't expect a lot of free conversions. Free conversions will not be trending upwards. As I mentioned, there'll be a wide adoption of really difficult correlation studies that were previously tough or impossible, and insane research hacks. I was working on an entry for the U.S. Search Awards, and the person who was writing the case study in my company used the word leverage. I hate the word leverage. Like it was played like about 14 years ago. Leverage. I'm gonna leverage. Like it's just web bullshit.
I probably say that.
So I went into chat. I went into GPT-4 and I said, please give me 20 words for 20 words for leverage. Operationalize, hack, capitalize on. Like it just gave me 20 different ways. I use GPT a lot. So I'm planning an international trip. I'm trying to figure out what size luggage I can bring. The little puddle jumper that goes to the Arctic in Norway gives me 3-dimensional centimeters, point millimeters. And so I just go, please, paste it in, give me that in inches, and it does all the dimensions.
Sure.
It's like that. so that's it's pretty groovy time to be alive. The only thing that's constant is that nothing is constant. And
Sure.
Really it's been the same argument forever. Like this is about the 10th time everybody thinks that the shit they're going through right now is the biggest thing in history. I'm almost 64 years old. I mean, we were equally like Flash 2.0 came out and the internet wasn't even hardly a thing. We went, we're all so screwed. Yeah. We're all so screwed because the animation artists are going to be put out of business because web engineers can take 2D elements, make them fake 3D, or digital video editing. We're so screwed. Like the whole history of any of the creative arts that are a tao of science and creativity, it's all a series of minds blown. We're screwed. What are we going to do?
That's awesome. What's your take on on the digital ad side? So if we're looking at interchannel or multi-channel marketing, or programmatic OTT, where do you see those pieces going?
There's a few things happening. We've all heard the word integrated marketing, and we've made a meal of it at Aimclear. To me, integrated marketing means if the keyword is Nikon binoculars deal, the retargeting in another channel isn't to everybody, but to only people who like geeky species of birds that are red, and like cardinals or robins. And the retargeting ad is only for people who searched for Nikon binoculars deal. It has a picture of a big red bird in the binoculars, and text on the ad says best Nikon birding binoculars deal. And so to me, integrate, or another one, the psychographic segment is everybody who works at a Fortune company, a Fortune company. And the keyword is enterprise WordPress solution software, which it would be really expensive if you had to buy a lot of that. But I know I'm only marketing to people who work at Fortune 500 companies or huge enterprises. Like integrated marketing is when you track inbound audience and creative, segment the data, and then retarget cross-channel or inside the channel, intra-channel, contingent on inbound audience and creative data. What the big thing that's happening, especially with Apple, Apple weaponized privacy. I really don't think Apple gives a shit about privacy. I think Apple gives a shit about wiping out Facebook, and they're doing a pretty good job of hurting them.
Sure.
And so what's going to happen, and what has already happened, is that integrated marketing, where we're tracking the funnel of inbound and ongoing creative and target filtering touches, is going to take place all within platforms. You're going to do it all inside of Google, or all inside of Amazon, or all inside of Facebook, which means that, say what you want about AI, Microsoft and Google have a great chance of winning because they have the most diverse product sets. In Google, I can show somebody a promoted video based on a keyword that I buy, and then I can retarget them with a banner ad, dialing in additional filters. Sure. So the big deal is that system-wide persistent state targeting and creative for user journeys is going to be intra-platforms, mostly within inside the platforms, instead of from Facebook to Google to Bing to Apple. That's the bad news. The good news is, so what? They're all massive. They're all the same users. It's just a question of the products. Like really, the people who are using Google are the same people that are in Amazon. And the people who are in Amazon are the same people that are on Instagram or whatever, with massive overlaps. So really, it's just a question of how you get them and what part of their day and what frame of mind they're in. So far as programmatic, you already see it. I mean, I don't have data. Well, if I had data, I couldn't tell you that I have data. But how many of you listeners out there have been talking to somebody in your life, and then you see a Facebook ad for the thing that you were talking about, but you've never been on any website that does it? So I'm pretty much sure that many people believe that. How's that for equivocation? I'm pretty sure many people believe that that this shit almost reads our minds.
Sure.
And so we're already able to use programmatic tools to run specific channels like the Food Network or ESPN with psychographic layers of delineation. So yeah, it's like it's not Mad Men anymore. Like you can run very explicit ads. XM radio too. Do you buy any XM? Very explicit stuff. So
Sure.
anything that was a media thing, a rich media thing that wasn't a piece of paper that somebody delivered to your door like every day, even that'll all customize. It's it'll be the same stuff: copy, video, consuming, streaming, or broadcast in your automobile. I mean, even skywriting with airplanes is data driven, like based on what beach they're over and the holiday, like it. Also, as you know, Facebook targeting kind of went away for a while, and other psychographic channels. There was a great tech regression, like a depreciation of classic, if you will, psychographic targeting. It's kind of coming back, like the ability to target people for who they are, not just what they're looking for. I'm sure in your Amazon DSPs and your Walmart DSPs, you experience that as well as in OTT. So it's a fantastic new world. I hope you enjoy it.
It's becoming fun where you can, where you can hyper target and really show relevant ads on all these different channels. The key thing is just it's got to be contained within that channel, just because of all the privacy restrictions and everything that's happening in trying to track cross channel. And so, lots of power within the platform. Once you get outside the platform, it gets a lot trickier.
Also, mass marketing too. I mean, you can do two things: mass marketing and dossier marketing. Like we could use Sales Navigator to make these really, really, really explicit lists of people. Keep the list inside the channel so you're not violating GDPR or CCPA or other emergent privacy legislation or regulations or laws, etc. We can market B2B and B2B2C using that data, like ski instructors buy chapstick and parkas. Spelunkers buy flashlights for their caves, etc. And then also mass marketing too. I mean, when I came up in this industry, we were using television stations with no targeting other than time of day and the content of the show.
Yeah.
But we still got people to buy chia pet heads or walk into grocery stores or buy cars at a Ford dealership or whatever, because for the relative cost, it didn't take much to raise brand awareness to where, and brand is like lakefront property. Of all the targeting I would like to have, I like people going to Google and searching for my brand and my differentiator, the words that define what makes us cool or different, or why they want it. My brand usage, my brand value, my brand differentiator, etc. And so mass marketing will get you that. And if you do a study in a market that's like say a DMA that has like 1 million people in it or 1.5 million people, and you divide it all up into hyper targeting with super specific ads, or you just market to everybody for an extremely low cost because you're not buying any targeting data, and you use a more generalized catch-all message at the top of the funnel, you'll sell more shit or as much shit. Like we just did we're working on a case study here for the Search Awards where, here's the Google result, here's the Facebook result, here's the direct traffic and new brand search attributable to people that saw ads more than once. Sure. Mass branding is in. Mass branding is awesome. And it's sexy and it works and it always works and we can prove it.
That's awesome. So Marty, it's kind of fun. I love talking to you because it's like, all right, we were both music guys back in the day. I got into digital advertising a little later in my career. You did too. Both growing digital advertising agencies in Duluth. We just made the Inc. 5000 last year, and it sounds like we're going to make it again this year.
I think we'll
So
make it
I'm,
this year too.
yeah, that's awesome. So I'm a little earlier in my career. Like, what advice do you have for someone like me who's looking at like the next 20 years and trying to figure out how we're going to navigate all this stuff as we go?
Diversify the people that generate revenue inside your company other than you.
Sure.
Pay your people way out of market, more like if they worked in San Francisco or Minneapolis or something. Don't make anything sacred, and be willing to turn your shop on a dime operationally. In that question of don't accept barriers to innovation. Don't accept barriers to innovation. Like if you ever hear anybody at your shop saying, "Oh, you can't do it," nobody has ever done that shit. Or we have to do it the old way first before we can get anybody to commit. Or well, we could do the innovation, but we could never scale it. It's not scalable, or it's too expensive. Like the biggest question I've ever asked at Aimclear, that is the question I would recommend that you always ask. Whenever anybody says something's not possible, say, yeah, I get it. It's not possible. But what if we could? Sure. What if we could? Like, what if we could? Like, well, okay, it's too expensive. Great. Why don't we do, and there's no machine that does it. Okay, why don't we do 3,000 by hand? And see if it works, and then we'll get the budget to automate it. Well, it's too expensive. Well, why don't we just pay the price and see if it works, and then we'll go figure out how to make it cheaper. Like the best tool that we've had in the whole 16 years has been proving use cases and feasibility in a sandbox. Yeah, I know, because people come up to us in all phases of life and say, I go, hey, well, I want to go to the Arctic and shoot the aurora and blah, 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 blah. Well, you can't. Well, what if I could? Well, what if I could? Well, you can't for this reason. Sure. I get it. I can't. What if I could? What would it mean to our outcome if we were able to do that? Well, you just can't. Look, I get it. We can't. We're all going to die and go to hell if we even try. What if we could? Could I please get you past what if we could? What if we could?
Sure.
Well, if we could, then we'd smoke everybody, hang them out to dry, and lead the world and make 100 million extra. Great. Okay, now what are the barriers? Sure. So now what are the barriers? Let's look at that one at a time and look at a low scale workaround that, I get it, it'll cost too much. Like, I get it. It's never been done. I get it. You can't scale it. Great. Yeah. What if we could? Like, you can't even get to the barriers of innovation until you're willing to look past to why you want it. And then you can study the reasons
you can
it's
figure out
not
how to get
feasible.
There. Yeah.
It's sort of like if I could make a logo for myself for the last 16 years, it would be like butterfly hunting with a hole in the net.
I love that. So Marty, for people, if they want to get in contact with you or they want to find more about Aimclear, like where should they go?
Well, LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great place. Plus,
Marty's got a lot of great content there, so make sure you link up with them on LinkedIn.
So, and you can just find me. It's Weintraub. Joe will post how to spell my last name. And then I make Facebook friends, and most people don't know, Joe, but I have a photography website called crackedpepper.com, like the spice cracked pepper.
Okay.
And
sure.
I'm a commercial drone pilot all 3 levels in Europe and also part 107 in America, and a committed still photographer. And my passion is nighttime sky astroscapes, where I'm taking picture of aurora and Milky Way, but with really interesting foreground stuff. So I'd enjoy, and I post my pictures on my personal Facebook page in public. For Aimclear, aimclear.com is a really great place to start. Our blog has really cool content in it. And you could just email me, marty@aimclear.com, AIMCLEAR. Just email me straight up. Like, when I speak at conferences, Joe, I don't, like, I just go email me. Like, if I speak at a conference and I say it, like, half the people in the room email me. Like, that just cuts through quite a few layers of bullshit. Like,
there you go. So email Marty.
yeah, like my work email, marty@aimclear.com.
I love it. Yeah. Well, hey, Marty.
Generous. Thank you for being so generous having me on your show. Like,
really for sure. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for all those who are listening to the Ad Project podcast, hope you got a lot out of this. And as always, thank you for listening. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Go Dogs.
Go Duluth Bulldogs.
Yes.